Hey everyone, it's CH White. Welcome back to DFGS. Before I get started today, I wanted to talk about a few things. First of all, thank you all so much for the Facebook love. In just a little under a month, the Facebook fan growth has been up to like 2,000 something. And that's really cool and I really appreciate it. It's just been a really organic process. I just started a YouTube channel to sort of share my love and passion and my journey with guitar and music production with whoever wanted to check it out. And so I really appreciate that. And on that note, anyone who's on Facebook but hasn't yet subscribed on YouTube, definitely go ahead and do that. Whoever wants to watch it, whoever wants to subscribe, I love having you and I'm glad you're a part of it. And so that leads me into back to Facebook actually, because this video pertains to a question that a few people have private messaged on Facebook. And no need to private message, you can post on Facebook, I will respond to either or. But about what I generally use in my rig, do I switch out my pedals a lot? Do I use different amps? And the answer is yes to all of it. I'm sort of a pedal junkie as well as a guitar and amp junkie and, compressor, music, studio gear junkie, but that's for another time. And I own, I would say, probably 40 to 50 pedals at any given time, and I like to swap them out and create different combinations. To me, that's a lot of the fun. There's an art form in its own. So I thought today I would just sort of do a walkthrough of what's in my pedal board now, what amp I'm using now, and we'll run through the different pedals and how I'm using them. And hopefully that answers your question, and if it creates more questions, that's really good to ask them, and I will really try to get to those. I'll start off with my amp. It's an amp that I've been using for a while. It is a custom-made Supro Thunderbolt Plus. The guys at Supro made it for me, and really the only real modification is they swapped out their normal tubes for some more high-end Telefunken tubes, which if you're familiar with Telefunken, mainly from their microphones, their products sound amazing. So this amp has a slightly more saturated, a little bit of a softer high-end, more of a mid-punch than the stock Thunderbolt Plus, but they both sound great, and the Supro company is really cool company. They've been really good to me. I have a great relationship with them. So shout out to Mike and Andy at Supro. And so that's the main amp that I've been really in love with these days and using for practicing, writing, and recording. And that's the main amp I've used in these DFGS videos so far. Today on my pedal board, we'll walk through it. I usually have between 4 and 7 pedals at any one time. And there's a reason. I like to start off my pedal chain with a compressor. Then I like to go into some sort of preamp color EQ control. Then I usually either go to a modulation of some sort, then a gain, but those can be swapped out and switched. We can talk about that. Then I go into delay and then a reverb. And I'm a front of amp kind of guy. One of the reasons why I'm using the Supro Thunderbolt is it's a really simple front end. It just has volume and tone. And some people will sort of tell you you must use the effects loop on your amp, or that you should use some pedals in the front end, some. All of that is true. And you guys know me, I'm not here to say what's right or wrong, I'm just sharing what I do. And so the last two in the chain, as I said, are reverb, then delay, and those go into the front. And I find that gives you a really smooth, cool signal chain that you can really manipulate at any stage and have a lot of fun with. So we'll walk through what's in my rig today. I'm starting off with a Keeley GC1 compressor. I really love Keeley. I think they make amazing sounding products. Why I particularly like this compressor is it has a studio grade limiter built into it. I really like that. You can keep the compression setting kind of low, so you're not squeezing your signal, but you can clamp down that top end, so if you really want to dig in on a chunky rhythm or an aggressive lead, it keeps things a little bit smooth, and I really like that. Next, I'm going into a JHS Twin 12. JHS is another company that's just making fantastic sounding stuff. This pedal actually models an old 1963 Silvertone amp that guys like Chris from Coldplay and Jack White and a lot of other famous players favor. Just has a really unique tone. With this pedal, the new model, which just came out in 2016, has a switch that you can drive the pedal on a clean channel or a dirty channel. I use it really as a preamp to drive the clean tone. I love the active EQ on it, the bass and the treble, and it just has a great tonality that I use as sort of an always-on pedal. From there, I'm going into another JHS pedal, which is the Angry Charlie Andy Timmons model. Angry Charlie is an incredible gain pedal. It also just has a really nice tonality to it and a great articulation. So whether you wanted to just do big, fat ringing chords or use it for your solo, it just has a wonderful clarity that, for me really works. Right now, I'm using in the next slot an Electro-Harmonix Pitchfork. I've really been into experimenting with pitch tones recently. We're all sad about the passing of Prince. I've always been a huge fan of Prince, not only for his production and his writing, but also as a hugely underrated guitar player. Prince is a really badass guitar player. And Prince used a lot of octave stylings to accentuate his writing that I really like. So I've been inspired by Prince and really saddened by that loss. So that's why the Pitchfork is out of the pedal drawer and onto the rig right now. Then I'm going into another Electro-Harmonix pedal, the Electric Mistress. Electric Mistress is a classic flange pedal, really has that late 70s, early 80s sound that Andy Summers from the Police used, David Gilmour, a ton others. A really recognizable and really glossy flange sound, which is amazing. And Electro-Harmonix just put out a new deluxe version, which models the old one with a few new bells and whistles that I'm still playing with and I really like. Next, I'm going into a Strymon El Capistan for it's a tape echo, and that's where the delay slot is, and it just sounds incredible. Strymon is possibly the best pedal makers out there today. All of their products are just super high-end studio quality. This one mimics two tape machines, and I'll go through it a little more detail in a few minutes, but just sounds amazing. And lastly, a pedal I featured in a few recent videos, the Mr. Black Supermoon, which is a really ambient, really diverse pedal that just has a tonal quality that's great. So that's where my pedal board is today, and it might be different later tonight, but that's what's going on for me today, and that's what I'm using and how I'm using it. And now let's take a listen to some of these things. Right now, we're going to listen to the Keeley compressor, which is always on, the JHS Twin 12, which is always on, into the Strymon El Capistan delay, and the Supermoon reverb. Just really clean, easy to make out each note, glossy, clean tone. That's, what I like to always sort of base off of. Let's add in a little Electric Mistress and see how much that colors in the tone. That's a really cool pedal. Maybe that flange tone sounds familiar to you from those Police records, those Public Image Limited records, the late Pink Floyd records. Kind of goes on and on. Really cool flange pedal, the Electric Mistress. So, again, I like to keep things simple, so sometimes that's all I need. A nice clean bass, beautiful modulation, and some light reverb and delay, and that usually inspires me to start writing or, lay down a track. For today, I'm going to kick off the Electric Mistress, and let's hear a little bit of gain with that JHS Angry Charlie. I'm going to keep on the El Capistan and the Super. Like I said earlier, that Angry Charlie has such great articulation. You can really hear each note of the chord ring out. When you're doing multiple string bends, things don't get washed out. I've been really happy with that pedal and have really started using it quite a bit. So again, JHS Angry Charlie. This is the Andy Timmons mod, which basically has a few different wattages, but all the Angry Charlies sound great. So that's my rig with the compressor, the color, or the preamp, gain, reverb, and delay. Lastly, let me kick on a little bit of that pitchfork, and we'll do a little Prince-inspired stuff to wind up this video. So that's a look at what's in my pedal board today and what gear I'm using today, and a little bit of a look at why I set things up the way I do and how I do. I hope it's helpful for you, but I'll say it one last time. However you set up your pedal board is right for you, and one of the best parts about guitar and gear and amps is that there's endless creativity within it, and have a lot of fun finding your sound and take inspiration and knowledge from people like me or anyone else that you like, but find your thing. I'm TH White, this is Death Fox, thanks for watching.